we finished the chapter, and now we're going to get into the discussion section here. And I think we know what's on everybody's minds. Dr. Vegapunk has finally been revealed.
Yes.
After the first name drop, God knows how long ago, we finally get to see the Dr. Vegapunk that's 500 years into the future. You know, this is the Vegapunk that not only converted Kuma to a cyborg, but created Momo's fruit, converted the Seraphims, and there's just so much more that, you know, Dr. Vegapunk has done. Frankie has built his body around Dr. Vegapunk's, like, science and blueprints.
Yeah.
So, like, this character has had such an influence on the One Piece series, it's ridiculous.
Like, I mean, it is a huge reveal. I think, especially because from the previous cameos of Vegapunk, it's always not even talked about like they're older, but also like even the cameo pictures, they show an older man, like a figure of an older man. So this is really interesting.
Yeah.
And so I think what's also interesting is that we see that number 2 on the shirt of Vegapunk. So I think that could be some, you know, maybe a hint into like what's happening here as well.
It kind of reminds me of like the Germa suits too, because they had numbers, I think, on their suits as well. What about you, Akil? What do you think?
So I have a couple things. Before I get into what I think in terms of the number 2, because when I saw that I had a couple ideas, I think the most interesting thing is that Vegapunk, when she shows up, says, despite my mediocrity, the world government likes to call me their scientific genius, as if this person hasn't single-handedly put like 500 years of the future's worth of technology into current day, and then calls herself mediocre. I mean, like, what? Just how high is Vegapunk aiming for, like, the standards that she set so far to her to consider mediocre? Like, that already is just kind of insane to me. But on top of that, I also wonder if maybe it's possible if Vegapunk split their bodies in the sense of, I'm not entirely sure, but like they built other bodies for themselves because they wanted to do more work. And so it's possible that maybe like Dr. Vegapunk has multiple bodies and hence the 2 on the suit. Like the first Vegapunk made another Vegapunk and like transferred his consciousness and then made another Vegapunk transfer his consciousness. So he could have like multiple bodies, versions of himself working on projects at a time to kind of speed up anything that he's working on or they're working on.
That's a good idea. I didn't even think about that.
No, I think that's really good, especially because, you know, Vegapunk works in, you know, like biogenetics and like cyborg technology. I don't think it's like crazy to think that Vegapunk could split their consciousness not only to do more work, but also if they wanted to theoretically like live forever, right?
Yeah, I think that makes sense because you remember how the Germa had their soldiers, they were clones of each other, right?
Yeah.
So it's not far-fetched to think that Vegapunk could do the same thing because I think Sanji's father, Judge Finsmoke, and Vegapunk used to be partners in research. She worked with Judge, she worked with Caesar Clown, and I mean, who else knows who she's worked with, but we all know that Vegapunk is like the top. I wonder if they have a devil fruit as well. I wonder if their intellect is a result of their devil fruit. And I think that it would be even more amazing if they were able to replicate that devil fruit ability, whatever it is, like the smart fruit or whatever, replicate that ability into their clones as well, because that would make a lot of implications for like other devil fruits in the future, right? Like they could be cloned, that would be insane.
Obviously, Vegapunk can manufacture devil fruits, as you see it, Smile. For example.
Yeah, but we don't know what made that fruit defective yet.
Yeah,
even though it's seemingly like a clone of Kaido, right?
Yeah.
The other thing I wanted to bring up was that the beef that I think Jewelry Bonnie has with Vegapunk is that Vegapunk made Kuma a pacifista. Because way back in episode 888, we see that Jewelry Bonnie is on the holy land of Mariswa, right?
Yeah.
And she's like, I'm gonna save you, Kuma, no matter what. So I think that they have some history, Kuma and Bonnie, and I wonder like what it is. I think it would be crazy. This is like a far off theory, but like I think it would be crazy if Jewelry Bonnie turned out to be Luffy's mom.
Oh, that's wow.
It's funny that you say that because I didn't think Jewelry Bonnie was Luffy's mom, but I was looking and I'm wondering if maybe Jewelry Bonnie and Vegapunk are related somehow. I felt like when I was looking at Vegapunk's face and I went and looked back at Jewelry Bonnie's, it didn't look identical, but they looked similar. And so I'm wondering if maybe there's a potential for them to have been related, whether Vegapunk is Jewelry Bonnie's mom, other way around, whether they're cousins, an aunt and niece, whatever. I'm just thinking it's possible that maybe Jewelry Bonnie's related to Vegapunk. Because I'm not sure what other business she would really have with Vegapunk to come to the island.
Yeah, it also could be. I mean, I just saw with the Seraphs, like how Vegapunk took DNA from the other like warlords to like make those. Like I think it is possible that maybe Vegapunk has used Bonnie's or other pirates like DNA for experiments too. So maybe that lookalike could have been using like her DNA. I have one more theory. So they talk about how Egghead Island is supposed to be 500 years into the future. But what if this isn't exactly a correct interpretation? Because we know that some of the most powerful weapons, like Pluton and Neptune, everything was created in the ancient world, and all this
The
technology.
Void Century,
yeah, and we have all these Ponticus that everyone wants, that has all this information, all this technology that's supposed to be the most powerful in the world. What if Vegapunk is actually using technology 500 years in the past, but it's so much more advanced than what we currently have right now? And that's what's giving this, this is 500 years in the future, but really using ancient technology that's far ahead of our time right now. Does that make sense?
That makes sense.
That makes a lot of sense, actually. Oh man, that's a good theory. Actually, there is one more thing. When Luffy responds to Bonnie, and when she asked about she thought his hair was white, and he said, "That's just how I look when I'm totally free." I know that we have like a lot of theories, but like I do like that, like that's how he interprets it, in the sense of he truly is free from everything in a certain sense. Like he breaks free from the laws of physics, from the laws of causality, like from the like laws that govern the world in a sense. He truly does become totally free. And so I thought it was interesting that like that was his response to like his form.
Yeah, he doesn't even. Does he refer to it as Gear 5th, or was that Oda referring to it as Gear 5th?
I think he referred to it as Gear 5th, because when he first got it, he was like, this is like my new high, like this is Gear 5th.
Okay, then I guess my theory's out the window. If anybody else doesn't have any other theories, I think we'll wrap up the video here. Nice and short, put a bow on it, and we'll see you guys next time. Squad out.
Squad out.
Squad out.